Hey, y'all. Come on in the room. Come on in the room. Happy Monday, everybody. I hope everyone has had an amazing Monday and is ready to get into the Gilded Age, season 3, episode 1. And while this has not been my favorite episode, I feel like this was a very strong start to the season, especially compared to prior years. I feel like we're setting the stage and getting things together. But thank you guys so much for being here. If you're new here, my name is Ashley. This is my sweet perspective where I give my take on all things TV and movie related. And you know I'm here to put you on, but I am not doing this by myself. And honestly, y'all, I'm surprised. The girls are gagged because I didn't think this lady would ever be over here in these streets. I didn't even ask. I was going to do this solo dolo. But she said, you know what, Ashley, because I love you, I'm going to go down these powdered wig streets. And y'all, she did it. And so she's here without further ado. Tyra over at Struggle Reviews TV. How are you this Monday? How you feeling? How you feeling?
I feel good. Like I would never leave you out in the cold, I would never do that. And just because it's not my ministry doesn't mean that there aren't valuable things to pull from this show. But yeah, don't ever dismiss or discount what I won't do. Okay, I'm gonna be here for you.
I mean, I'm just saying, shock me. You know I'm blessed. That's my good sis over there. Tony T, good evening, good evening. Hope everyone is having a great Monday. What's up, Anakin? Hey, Bookworm, I see you. Hey, pretty girl. Hey, Darfalina. Hey, Jazz. Darfalina says, listen, Tyra, LOL. Listen, because you know you just know certain things, right? Like we know I'm not going certain places, and a lot of times we know Tyra's not going certain places. We both stepped out of our box for each other, which is amazing, right? Because in what other space do you see that, right? We're getting out of our comfort zones. And I love that for us. But Tyra, we're going to go ahead and start here. And I actually didn't do my signature this time. So I'm just going to ask you. I want to know overall thoughts, season 3, episode 1, because I don't have a slide for it. So we're just going to do it like that.
I think that this is a show. This show feels like it's like maybe kind of early 2000s. Like this would have been a successor then, because then shows could have iffy seasons and have time to find their footing without getting canceled. This is definitely a show in a nutshell. This day and age, I'm gonna be like, what? That one ain't gonna. That one's not going to last too much longer. I feel like between the first season, the second season, and now start, I'm like, oh, y'all coming out the gate like this first episode. They learn the benefit of still having that slow burn and us being all about, the nuances and the subtleties of the Gilded Age and the costuming. Like, no, we still need to interject some mess. Baby left the house. Peggy sit. We get into some mess. They're keeping it real cute coming out the gate, and also, just with I'm gonna hold these people's names, but Daddy, Big Daddy here, who all down at the Western at the saloon,
Mr.
about to
Russell,
get
yeah,
had.
Mr. Russell.
Yeah, we all, it's like we're really taking time to pull in the audience, and we're not just totally relying on atmosphere, which I really appreciate for this first episode.
Absolutely, y'all. When Tyra told me, like, after she had watched a couple episodes, she's like, it feels like a painting. Like, she's like, beautiful gowns. And it is. I think the amount of work that they put in to make it really feel like the time is incredible and a huge expenditure. If you're familiar with costuming and design and all of that, you would kind of see once you watch a couple episodes of this, like they didn't cut corners. They had a budget, and they used it from the hair to the clothes to the set design to the pieces, even the pieces of furniture, the art that we see throughout is really incredible. And kind of to echo part of Tyra's sentiment, Downton Abbey, which was created by the same creator who did the Gilded Age, Julian Fellowes, Downton Abbey became like a phenomenon, right? But that was 2011, so that's quite a few years ago. And I think initially you can really feel it. Season 1, they were trying to grab onto that same model, and I think now we're finally beginning to see progression. I know while Gilded Age is still here, because at the end of the day, it's still a beautiful show. I think people have a very strong allegiance to Julian Fellowes and his work, and so I think that's where we're getting this audience. Plus, apparently, HBO Max has a budget and will spend on what they want to spend it on because clearly we're over there within just like that. And
Oh, girl. Once
I'm
again,
just
a
I'm just
loyal fan base.
I'm gonna say that. But yeah, for a first episode, like I said, in comparison to the other seasons, I thought this was strong. I think we do get some tea here. Nobody puts baby in a corner, all that. But I did want a little bit more. I do want more. I really wanted the fallout of the Russells and Gladys and basically pimping her child out for a Metropolitan Opera House. I wanted to go there with Mr. Russell and Mrs. Russell because I need to see what witchcraft and wizardry she has on that man. But let's go over here, and I want to go character by character, and then we'll kind of do like a storyboard of what happened in the actual episode. But I want to gauge everyone's feelings about each character and where they're at presently. So we're gonna start with Miss Peggy Scott, honey. And I have wanted so much more from her character since day one. When we meet her, it's kind of again in relationship to Miss Brooks. She gives that money that enables Miss Brooks to get to her aunties and start this whole life. And we see that the intersection of their lives, go on this path together for 3 seasons. However, it doesn't ever feel to get any deeper than the surface for me. Like, yes, you work for my family, but I still don't know anything about you. I still am bringing you my leftover clothes, not
Hmm.
knowing that you come from stock, honey. And then it's still like, how do we engage with each other? Are we able to be open and honest? But as far as Miss Scott from a character, we saw her go down a road last season with that married newspaper man. We know that she's been married before to an undesirable, had a baby. Baby was taken by her father, and baby ultimately passed away out of her care. So she's kind of been reeling from the grief of that. And then on the other side of that, wanting to pursue her career in not only journalism, but writing as a whole. And so as this season opens up, we see her anxious to get back to 61st Street, honey, because can't nothing happen without the Watts over there. But also kind of taking ownership, sending queries out to get her book out there, and actually making headway. But still very stubborn, still kind of disconnected for me. Tyra, what do you think of our Miss Scott? And what do you think about the portrayal? I hear this over and over that it's so good to see Black people from that time period who are not in subservient roles. And I mean, I like that, but I still want more. You're muted.
Girl, when did I do that? Um, Miss Scott is really interesting. I too, before now, I was really excited to see a different type of role from this era. But with that being said, I was even more excited when she kind of took control, or what I thought was going to be taking control over her narrative, and she got out of the slave quarters, if you will, and kind of from underneath being the secretary. And I was like, okay, so now this means we get to embark on who she is outside of this space. So when we kind of ease her right back into that, right, so quickly, I was like, okay, I mean, the aesthetics are beautiful. Us getting dimension is a beautiful thing. There's just so much to explore with her, not just because it's nice to see somebody outside of, the typical, what we see, but she's so protected and so sheltered. Kind of like what we got when she went down south, and it was like, well, I should be able, because I'm not accustomed to these things. There are so many things that we could do with her, even when it comes to her disconnect with her father, even though he's terribly what he did, she at times she doesn't recognize or understand her own privilege in the spaces at times.
Mhm.
And I think we could go so far with that. We could go so far with that and what she could mean for other women of color. That just so much. And yet we are in the quarters being a secretary. Now we do have her embark on little momentary things because she does have those strong ambitions to be a writer, and we know what that is. But it's like as quickly as she picked it up, and it was, well, if you're saying that I have to not be mentioned as a Black woman to get myself published, then I don't want to be published. It's kind of like we stopped it there. I thought we were gonna like have her fighting and those things, and then we probably like finally even fighting tooth and nail as a woman, a black woman. Okay, I'm here. I'm in this space. We have her sneaking with the deacon. I was like, why couldn't she just be professional in the space? The character that we have her here, and how we met her, and all of this great, power, discernment, and this dignity. I don't see her even looking at that man. Even if we are, the moment you try to pursue me, it's going to be the immediate no. How long we had her kind of linger there with that man, I was like, okay, I don't like this. And it seems out of character for what you guys are presenting her to be to us. It's like they have her here and she has power and autonomy, but they don't know what to do with her. So the quicker we get you back into the story, back into those quarters, let me give you a little sniffle and a little cough. We're gonna maybe do that, and if I feel like, I guess we'll get into that, the dimension. I guess they're gonna try to play
Yeah.
off there, but there's so many things that we could do with her, and we're just kind of choosing not to.
I agree. Her mama, played by the Audra McDonald over there, and her father, because I really do like this idea that she doesn't understand her own privilege and what that looks like, the
Mhm.
intersectionality, not only between interacting with those in her race who may be of a lower class or economic status, but then also how she interacts with the Van Rhines, with a Miss Brooks, with all of those people on 61st Street. But they're really pulling it back. We see her piggybacking on other causes. We saw that with the teachers, the school being shut down last season, and this season it looks like Ada's gonna bring her in on this whole temperance movement. And I'm just like, girl, there's enough of you to have your own compelling storyline that interacts with everyone else. What, Tyra?
I will say what I don't like with Miss Peggy Scott's storyline, and what I think that, because out of all things, especially with Miss Agnes, I would I would think she's a bigot. It's like she's conveniently not one, just for us to incorporate Miss Peggy into the storyline and have her in that house. She's everything else in high class and societal standing, except for when it comes there. Then it's like, well, they pick and choose with her, and I don't want that for Miss Peggy. I think she deserves a whole lot more than that.
I do too. And I think that's very interesting that you've said that, because I think we're going to see that as well. And we'll get to Agnes, but I think we're definitely going to see some movement with her character. But then we still have the regression. So it's very hard, because it's like, okay, so you're fine with the blacks. You have an issue with the new money across the street, but you're fine with the blacks. Then
Yeah.
on top of that, now you want women to have the vote, but then you turn your cousin away and say she's going to be better off by herself. This isn't going to be a good place for
Yeah,
her
they go
to
back and
dine.
forth out
Yeah.
of convenience for whatever story, whatever we need to write that week. It's back and forth with Agnes, and which
Yeah.
is cool, but don't do it at Miss Peggy Scott's expense. Okay.
I'm saying now this is supposed to go somewhere. I think what I saw in the trailer for the season was that we are going to get her in a quasi love triangle. We're going to meet the Felicia Rashad, who's going to be very, very, very distinct and persnickety, I'll say that. And
Hmm.
maybe Miss Scott's not good enough for her new suitor. So I'm very interested. It looks like we're going to be going maybe to Sag Harbor, honey, maybe to the Hamptons with
Hmm.
his family, to see what that dynamic's going to be like. So I really, really hope and pray they flesh her out more this season, because we don't know how many more seasons of this we're going to get. Now, I know HBO got money, but do y'all got that much money? Easing on over here to Ada. Honey, I love Ada down really, really bad. The Mrs. Forte, recently widowed Mrs. Forte. I like Ada. I really am enjoying her this first episode. Where Ada hasn't had a voice for 2 seasons, I feel like we are going to see a new side of Ada. She got a cute coin. If y'all don't remember what happened, she had married the pastor. He shortly after passed, unbeknownst to her, he was sitting on stacks. All right. And just as, of course, we know Oscar had lost the family Van Rhijn fortune, she comes to the rescue, and now she's paying all the bills. But there's this war, this tug of war. But I like it. No, invite Larry over, Miss Brooks, and do this. I have autonomy. I've got the power now, and I have a voice. I like this for her. She was so mousy before. I just need Miranda over there and Just Like That to get her life together, because over here, Ada's getting her life together. Tyra, what do you think of Ada?
Boy, we couldn't let the family struggle for a tenth of a second, could we? We just couldn't. I have been waiting. I told Ashley watching this, I say the best thing that could happen to this show is that somebody loses money. The wealth begins to dwindle. Something. Where's the Great Depression? Something, and then we're cooking because baby, we couldn't let them struggle for 5 minutes. Um, Ada is funny. Ada is really really funny. Um, I was really looking forward to Ada and her husband. I was. So to kind of have it snatched immediately, it was like, oh man, I really wanted to see Ada and Agnes. Whew, I wanted to see that.
Mm.
And we just found a way to instantly bring them back together and instantly supply them with funds. And it just felt all really convenient. But that's not to say that I'm mad at her finding her voice because who gonna check me, boo?
Yeah. What you gonna do
Who
about it?
gonna check me? I'm like, I thought it would take a little while. I guess not for her to be like, well, I'm paying the bills, so it's like no, this is what I want to do, and this is we're using the good silver, and it's just that. I don't want them to linger in that too long because it can get tiresome because we know what the dynamic was. And now that she's the lady of the house, I will the power and the fun. So back off, Agnes. But I want to see her make smarter decisions. I want to see her develop into, well, I'm a little bit more than just Agnes's sister, even if it's a late discovery with her being an older woman, just so she knows that it's not too late for ambition, never too late for love, just all these prosperous things that she can maybe do in the community to maybe give back on his behalf or whatever that is or looks like for her. But I don't want, well, Agnes, I make the money. I got that. I want action from her. And
Yeah.
not that naivete action, because they be
Yeah.
trying
Yeah, that's what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of with her whole new passion. I feel like it's going to be a new passion every week. I feel like it's going to be these causes that are going to enrapture her for a moment. Because honestly, she's still fighting with her grief. And so it's like, let me throw myself in this cause because I think it would make my deceased husband proud. But are you doing it for yourself? Because when I heard the rhetoric of these people, in the ones that Agnes wouldn't let them eat with her silver, I said, "Oh, they're crazy. Okay, this is a cult. Like,
I
is,
don't
is
like
Ada gonna
that.
be? Is Ada gonna be in a cult? Because while we love Ada, we also know who she is up to now, and it's been a very mealy mouth, very soft spoken, very let me kind of pine away in the quiet. And so I'm very curious about this sudden turnaround, and if it's gonna be long lasting, or if she'll just be caught up by the next new thing now she's a bigger target because she at this point unlimited coins is what it looks like, but we shall see. Easing on down the road, honey, to her sister. And Agnes is my favorite. The
Yeah.
Mrs. Van Rhijn, honey, for good or bad, better or worse. I love her down bad. She is old money in everything that it represents in these streets. She's classist, she's rude, she's lightweight disrespectful. She thinks she is right. And 9 times out of 10, she gonna be right for better or for worse. But now I'm very interested to see what's going to happen with her character because she's not the one, right? She was taking care of her spinster sister. She was providing for her son and this whole household. She had settled for a marriage strictly to provide comfort for her. But apparently, he was a very hard man. We kind of tiptoe around that in earlier seasons that there may have been abuse or things like that in the relationship that she had with her husband. But now that that's all gone, it's like her son was her pride and joy. Now I can't even look at Oscar. And so I really wonder where she fits outside of her judgment, outside of the money being gone. Who is Agnes without that? Who is Agnes without the power? Tyra?
They didn't give us 5 minutes to find out, did they? That would have
No.
been so good. That would have been so good. I don't even care if it was like mid season and we realized that we had the coin from the textiles and the pastor. We could have we could have let them cook. We could have let them cook. I think we would have really gotten to see what she was made of, or even seen some of her past, and not so much of what she had to endure with this husband to get this money, but just how calculated and brilliant and smart and resourceful she could be, and even though it's for convenience, her to realize that this person and that person can be an asset. You know, I don't care what color you are. If you're, you know, suitable and the best for the job, I'm here for it. Like this would have allotted her in so many spaces. But when we put her here and displace her so heavily next to her sister, it's just like, okay, what do we do with her now? I really don't want the convenience of it all from her, because how she stands in all of the high society and old money and principle and loyalty. When we have her mentioned in the episode, I think it was the women's, was it the women's suffrage movement and her being in
Mhm.
support of it. I was like,
Yeah.
what? Really? You
Yeah.
would think, I thought Agnes's journey was gonna be the one who was against and slow with progress. So when you have her have that relationship with Peggy and have her, oh, yes, I'm the women's suffrage. I was like, what? We cannot keep picking and choosing with this lady. I wish she picked a side so we could have that narrative of those who don't move with progress. They often get left behind, or you know, they're later to the party, and you know,
Yeah.
well, Agnes has been this for years, but she might surprise you. We know that there's something there, because why would she? But it's almost like instant. And women stuff like, are you like, and then we can be all these things to everyone except for the ones in our home, in our immediate circle, our family. Yeah, I like this for those. Yeah, not you. No, I have this expectation for you. It's just all kind of wishy-washy, and I want Agnes to be the one who stands on it, because when it was all about that Metropolitan Opera House, we were standing on business about it. We were standing on loyalty. I wouldn't dare step, but we had to damn near steal Agnes's whole manservant and
Mhm.
pay him a dub for her to come all up into the house. So I'm like, I want her to stand and really be in that space. Don't have her not in that space when it's just, you know, convenient for the story.
I agree. And I like how we kind of confront that a little bit, because how out of the same mouth do you say, oh my gosh, you got another job? Wasn't it bad enough you were teaching them children how to paint? Now you're going to isn't that an oxymoron? The normal school, the average normal school. And then you're talking about giving women the right to vote. Like, come on, be serious. But I like how they're calling her out on it. I'm really interested to, I would hope at some point we get a deeper character study of her to see these two things that are at odds within her. Because I agree with you, Darfalina. Agnes gonna be Agnes with or without money. She's that girl, and nobody or nothing can humble her. I even feel like if we would have seen her as a brokey, like as Danny said, in squalor and degradation, she would have still been haughty. You know, we come from this family. What would our parents think? Oh, your parents have been long dead. Like,
It's not so much. I mean, not expecting her to be hoity toity, but just like when she sat down with the cousin this episode. Well, you know, if and when you're divorced, some
yeah,
decisions are going to have to be made. I would have loved to see her kind of get some of what she's planning to dish out to other people, to
yeah.
maybe have her have a recollection or an awakening in some way, to know if and when halfway through the season we do get this money back, I'm going to move accordingly because I've been on the other side. We didn't get there.
Yeah, we didn't. And hopefully we do. Like I said, I love her character. I do
Mhm.
think that a lot of people who are rigid in some areas are loose in some areas. And I think she's really bound by whatever her personal moral convictions are. And I think maybe race is one of those things. Maybe a certain right to something is. But at the end of the day, she is still for the old world style of doing things. Honey,
Yeah.
you gotta have to deal with it. Can you make it work? You know what Ada said? Can you not? Can you fix it? You don't want a divorce. Easing on over here to Miss Brooks, child. I've been waiting for 3 seasons to like Miss Brooks. Miss Brooks is so lackluster to me, and they're pushing her as the protagonist, and I just don't understand it. She is so dry and dull, and a- and they try to give her stuff to cook with, and it never works. You'll see if you've watched since day one, it's always man centered, right? It's always around a prospective suitor. And so now that we have Larry, who I love Larry Russell. I think he's a good man, Savannah. I'm like, is it just going to be more of the same? Or are we finally going to see her branch out and be bolder this season? Everything she did before was undercover. like, yeah, Auntie Agnes wouldn't be pleased with that, but I want to do what I want to do, but let me hide. We've never really seen her come out fully and just say, no, this is what I'm going to do. It's always at the very end of the wire. Even with Dashiell, her engagement last season, happy you waited to the very last minute possible. And honestly, that's when you should have waited even longer to make sure you guys were going to have coin, because he would have provided everything. I just don't think Miss Brooks is a rational character for whatever reason. And I really want to like her. It's just she's so. I could take her or leave her. There's nothing amazing or incredible, either good or bad. She gives very wet blanket for me, Tyra. What do you think of Miss Brooks, though? I don't know.
Girl, this is my least favorite character. I loathe anytime she's on the screen. Oh my god. And she gets the most screen time because she is kind of our main attraction here, which was a choice.
Yeah, I don't.
She's a choice. It was supposed to be across the street with Bertha. Just be over
Yeah,
there and, have her be inconsequential in that factor. Miss Brooks is, I just call her a little Snow White. She's just this very, oh. They have her in this in between, and I guess that's intentional because she is stuck at a crossroad with these old family ways, values, and thinking, and marry off, find a good man who needs a job and to even have
yeah,
your own ambition, or just it's that. And no, she's I want to do something important. I want to be that touchstone, make a difference in the world before I settle down with a man. But she not doing that. I thought she was gonna move in and give Agnes in them hell. Not that she hasn't kicked up a little dust, but for so long the narrative is I'm sneaking across, I'm going to the ball. Cinderella, we don't care. We do not care. It's just not enough. I thought she was gonna be hitting the ground running, being involved in all of these movements, and maybe like we did get a mention of women's rights and things like that, but that never just seems to be her undertaking. She doesn't even know what she wants to do. She just knows, like, I want to be somebody, but she doesn't know what that is. So I guess we're like in the middle of the ocean with her until she figures that out. But I don't like that in the intersection of the men in her life. Like, it's just
yeah,
always it's just not cooking at all. And then when we finally get, you said Larry the one across the street who's with
yeah.
old
Larry
her.
Russell,
Mhm.
Bertha's
Then we
son.
finally, what I'm sure if you are like a loyal fan of the show, you can tell that it's a tongue in cheek, and that's really in game. So I know people were probably waiting for them to get together and be a thing, and then it seems like here when you finally get it, oh, it's only been so long. I need to think about what you need to think about. What you need to do, girl? Like, this is the most cooking that you've had. This is the most interesting that your storyline has been.
Mhm,
And at the end of the
mhm.
day, it does seem like, in spite of my passion and my career, and I want to go forth and prosper and make my stamp on the universe, you still want a man. You still want
Yeah,
to love. I can't afford to fail a third time. I need time. Girl, what you need time for? To try on some more dresses? I don't
right.
know. I needed to do something. I needed to do something. Maybe the introduction of women's rights at this point will like perk up in her, and then she'll find her
Yeah.
passion. But she is a very middle of the road character, and one of the least interesting to me, for her to get so much damn screen time. And then they be acting like she's so fine and she just be cooking up and
Girl,
down the streets. Girl,
girl, don't
I
you
think
know? You know
it's
how they
cool.
feel
It's
about
cool or
mediocrity.
whatever. Don't be cooking. Y'all be about to drink her bathwater. Really?
You know how they feel about mediocrity, girl. You know what they do over there. But Darvalina, I beg to differ on this point, and I'm gonna go bar for bar, and I'm gonna go over there to Downton. Lady Mary was our protagonist, and Lady Mary, baby lover or hater, she was going to have the girls talking, the girls gagged. Do you hear me? Even for that time period. So I don't think that. I don't. I think she could be cooking more. I think there could be more depth and nuance to her character. Even if we just primarily focused on her friendship with Miss Scott, I thought that was going to be like a great thing. Like, I thought that was going to bust down doors, cause an upset, and she's kept it very much okay, girl. Yeah, you go downstairs to the servants' quarters, and
Yeah,
oh,
baby.
I'll see you.
I knew that wasn't going to be that. I knew where they were going when baby rolled up with them old shoes down to the Brooklyn. I say, oh, this is not what I thought it was.
Yeah,
Oh,
you know what
okay,
it's like.
it's cool.
And then the only thing that Miss Scott and you seem to have in common are male woes. I was very surprised when we saw Miss Scott come and say, well, yeah, we kissed and he's married, and I was like, oh, well, y'all okay? We're supposed to believe y'all are really besties, all right? Because it didn't translate before that. Let's go over here, honey, to the people, to the Russells, and I put them both on the same slide, child, because I don't need to break them up. Bertha can go direct, and I said I wasn't gonna say it no more. Bertha is a rehabilitated street urchin who is really she's one of the most diabolical characters that I've seen in a while, because on the surface it would seem that she is doing this for the betterment of her children and her station in life, but this is all about Bertha and her ego. She just literally wants to be more than who she was born. And I think it's sick and disgusting that she's enlisted her husband, her children, the help, her friends, anybody who is a stepping stone for her, she will use. Half friend will use them for any given thing. And I think she thinks that excuse me, that
Oh, don't you let Bertha take you there. You wait.
this
Where's your
money,
water?
girl, this money, this influence, and she makes it think she's somebody, and I hate her for it. But over here, we have fine Mr. Russell. Girl, Bertha tried to choke me, demon. I knew she was a demon. Meanwhile, we have Mr. Russell over here, and Mr. Russell's big fine. Now, what I really want to know, and I think what's on everyone's mind, is what she done put in that man's Kool-Aid, what she put in his spaghetti, what she has buried out there in the backyard, because it's a root on him. It's a root, Tyra. It's a root, because there's no way she looks how she looks in the face. There's no way she has such a terrible disposition. There's no way that she's not giving him any cootie cat, that this man is willing to move heaven and earth behind her. Mr. Russell, a good man. That heifer spread limb to limb and said, "Do you want a taste?" He said, "Put your clothes on. Put your clothes on and leave here. I don't do that. I'm not doing that to my wife." The people wouldn't let the lady in the thing. She said, "You know what? Let me go up there." Mr. Russell bought it out. Said, "All right, bring it to my house." Oh, baby, you gave up your seats for this heifer at the thing. I don't give a damn. Didn't we help you build this? My wife will have her seats. He gonna go up behind her every single time. It's a spell. It's spell work. It's witchcraft and wizardry that she's done to Mr. Russell, and I'll never forgive her. Other than her having her fancy moment, here's your one chance, fancy, don't let me down, pimping out her child to this depraved duke. I think he's a degenerate. I think he's probably some sort of violator. He does not give me good vibes at all. Instead of letting her homely daughter go marry Mr.
Oh,
Carlton, Gladys looked like a Gladys at 12. Like, it's ridiculous. I can't stand her. I need Mr. Russell to put on his big boy draws, break the spell, break the curse, and do what's right behind his child. At this point, I'm scared. He's so docile around her. I really, really hate it. But talk to me about it. No disrespect to the actress,
girl.
but
No,
the fact.
disrespect, because what's in that cat? Okay, the public wants to know. Since season one, I mean, like, what's in there? Because baby, it can't just be her. Because she rationing that thing like it's Sunday, Big Mama Sunday dinner. You can have a little piece, but not too much. If you had some Thursday, you ain't getting none to 7 Thursdays over. Like the way she be having that man wait, and he gonna wait. He is going to wait. I think I can. Well, I can't speak for anybody else. Me just binge watching this show. I've been waiting for Mr. Russell's breaking point. I've been waiting for him to shut her down. I've been waiting for him to set her down, and he just refuses. And I know it's because this is a part of what he likes about her. He likes that she has goals and she's not, some mealy mouth woman in waiting. I'm going to be here at your beck and call, and it's all about what you want to do, and I'm going to support you in it, and I don't have my own narrative. He likes this about her. But Lord, she is an insatiable old hoe, ain't she? Lord Jesus, she ain't never happy with nothing. Like, girl,
Never.
girl, it's always more. Her in these quests for power, and I think he is going to get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm never going to be enough. this is never going to be enough. And I thought at this point we would have gotten there, and it's not. I think the daughter is probably going to be the breaking point, because what you're not going to do is leverage her to get this damn duke to open this opera house. Are you crazy? And notice she conveniently left that part out. I don't ask you about your business, so don't ask me
Oh
about
my
mine.
God.
Like, it's only so much you can take to feed the beast. I was hoping at this point, beyond us just knowing she came from humble beginnings, we would get some depth to know why she goes so hard and why this matters so much, and why she takes it as a like whole bloodied insult when she doesn't get her way and doors may not open for her instantly. But I have money now. It gives me that she and Miss Thing, who opened them legs on that bed, they real close. They're
Mm-hmm.
real close in
Mm-hmm.
narratives, and you know what we have to prove. So that's something that I'm looking forward to. Because yeah, you're not going to play in her face too much longer either, because she has that same disgusting energy and narrative that you do. Like, like, girl, what you want? What do you want? And it's like, it's nothing that he won't do for her. Even though,
Nothing.
I didn't agree with the moment they help her open them legs, baby, you should have told her. You already knew who you were dealing with. But he didn't, and that was, his mistake. But he's extremely loyal. He listens. He even, unbeknownst to her, behind her back, yeah, I'm handling business to making sure these things and these wheels turn in motion for you, because my wife's going to get whatever she wants. I
That part.
understand it. But like, girl, and then he'd be like, girl, what are you giving in return?
Nothing.
Girl, the way his world should be rocked. I want my name dropped. I want my ex
Right.
cracked. The world is supposed to be rocked. If she was
Mm-hmm.
just like breathtakingly beautiful and rocking worlds, I could be like, all right. I mean, Bertha is that girl. Bertha ain't that girl. Bertha
Right.
is sad in the face. Okay? Maybe once upon a time, maybe back in the day, she was that girl.
No.
Right now, the only
No.
thing beautiful is the gowns. Okay? I'm not about to play with you. I don't know
That's
what's
it.
in that cat, but she needs to tell the public so we can replicate it and put it in a jar.
Baby, bottle it and sell it. I mean, and I said this the other night as I was watching to myself. I said, you know what? If she had a real purpose and a real cause, she could be dangerous. She could really affect major change to any given movement. But it's really all about social climbing. And I think you're right. I think the mirror has two damn faces. I think she sees herself so much in oh girl now who done climbed her way up out the mud. And definitely, I saw someone talk saying dollar princess as far as Gladys, and that's absolutely true. They say that her character is based on Consuelo Vanderbilt. Right. And so it's the exact same story, getting sold off to the highest bidder, basically because the Duke has no money. They have all the money. It's kind of a fair exchange, ain't no robbery. You'll get this title, and I'll get a cute coin to carry on, the lineage or whatever. But it's still diabolical, and I think it's especially so because we saw in season 2 a really heartfelt conversation between Gladys and Mr. Russell, where he says, when Oscar was prowling about, and he kind of cussed Oscar out like, get out of here, and he says, you know what, I will let you marry for love, and she's like, you promise, and he's like, I promise. So I think that between Gladys and Bertha, this might be the one time he chooses someone other than his wife. I hope so. I hope so for
That's what
Gladys'
I was
sake.
hoping too. But it just seems like when it comes to her, like, let's agree to like disagree and just let her have her way. Like, he doesn't like the conflict. He always wants to be in her good graces and be, on her good side. So it's something to look forward to and see. Unless he finds out like, oh, you propositioned my baby in this way, I think that's gonna be the okay, hell no, because what we're not gonna do is that. I hope
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I think it's got to be honestly their relationship. It's so strong because there's even a part last season when he was in the midst of potentially losing it all with the workers and the laborers, the union and all. She says, "No, we'll just start all over." So
Yeah.
for her, it's really not even so much about the money; it's
Is it
about now that we
though?
arrived.
Is it
Well,
though?
I think it's about I'm somebody. I think it supersedes that. It feels to me that they both got it out the mud together, that she
Mhm.
held him down while they were doing whatever because they both come from nothing, right? She helped him get up there, and I think he just loves her down because she was there for him all those years ago. I don't
Yeah.
know if it's anything more than that. You think what could she have
I
done if he
don't know. I don't know. Like, she's just so full of it. You mean to tell me if we lose it at all, we could just make it again? Like, it's fine. Like, is it though? I would love to see it tested. I would love to see it. I mean, there's that, but she's so full of herself and full of this power and this image because she
Mhm.
wants that title. Because without that, we're more than just new money. We're like just new everything. There's a new dynamic and a new group of people ushering in. So out with the old money, in with the new money, and I want to have purpose and president and power in this city. With all of that ambition and what you want, baby, it costs money. So you mean to tell me if this man loses, he got a dime, you gonna be chilling? I just want to see. I want to test it personally.
Child, it'd be something. And it kind of gave the air of sincerity, and I think that's why he loves her the way he does. Maybe she really is a ride or die, and we just don't know it because we didn't get to see the struggle before. I'm hoping we might get a flashback here or there. Come on, give us
I've
something.
been waiting. Y'all got the budget for it.
They do. Now let's get over here with Gladys, honey. Gladys, oh Lord, this little homely child. God, she reminds me. If y'all ever watched Secret Garden, it might be random. It might be random, but if you ever watched the Disney Secret Garden, it was live action. It wasn't animated. She looks like the sick daughter. No, 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 no. I'm thinking of Pride and Prejudice. Am I thinking of Pride and Prejudice? Or Sense and Sensibility. Anyway, I'm thinking of something Jane Austen. Anyway, the woman had a very homely daughter that she was trying to marry off, I think, to Lord Darcy. That's what this lady looked like. She looked
No,
sickly, like she'd be in a corner, pale, just, oh gosh. But God bless you, Gladys. I think you have a fighter spirit. I hope you and Mr. Boo get together at some point. I hope you get to live the life you want to live. And people, it's Darfalina, I see you. I saw your comment. She's trying to make the best life possible for her daughter. I don't see a problem with it. I do. When you take away
I
anyone's
do. You
choice,
know what?
it's problematic.
You know why I have a problem with that? I think due to her own omission and how passionate she is in trumping money over everything else that a man has to offer. And not to say that she isn't right, especially in this time period. I think she's going to align with somebody who doesn't have the right intentions with Gladys, like physically, spiritually, emotionally, sexually, all those other things that matter. Like, we're not checking if these are, abusers, if
Yeah,
these are,
there's no vetting.
emotional we're not checking for any of those things. If you're a duke, you got a coin, we're cooking. She's just worried about status. I could see if she was having this much discernment and she was worried about everything else also. That's the only thing. Like, so if you come in with money, I really don't care. What about everything else? Like, and you don't know nothing about this duke and how wayward that duke was with
Looking
money and
crazy.
who was, whatever the higher bidder. I'm gonna go
Mhm.
to this one or that one or whatever. You don't know this man.
Not at
You don't
all.
understand. And then what? You came down to the house. He was in there in the kitchen with Larry, drunk. Like what? I mean, we just don't know this man. And Gladys has been very vocal about. I don't. As many people as she's tried to fix her up with, or not this one, not this one. She said, "I don't like him."
Hmm.
And not like I don't, I'm not physically attracted to him. She said, I don't like
Like
him.
him.
And I think, she's not even taking other things into account. Her wanting what's best for her daughter and worrying about, money and status and all the great work she could do as the Duke's wife. That's great. But is the Duke a good person?
No.
I don't know.
And I don't think she even cares about it. I think that Mr. Russell would do the legwork to find that out, but I think that um Bertha's so impulsive just about getting what she wants and winning at the end of the day. I think she's willing to sacrifice whatever, whoever, how much to get that done. And it's so disturbing. And Gladys is the collateral damage. Now, Oscar, child, I don't know. These got out of order. I thought Larry was next. Oscar is a degenerate that seeks out lonely women to prey on. And I think he got everything that he deserved. I feel bad that Agnes was a casualty of that, but Oscar deserved every bit of that. Oscar deserved when he was out cruising to get beat up. And not because of what he was, not because he's gay, but because of the fact that he's a duplicitous monster who was seeking out women to ruin their lives. You don't want near none of these women, sir. You want a beard. You want a beard and you want a little bit more coin, and you believe you deserve to be rich, and you don't want to work. That's all this is. And the fact that he went on entire campaigns first to trap Gladys, I'm glad Mr. Russell put his foot down on that. But now you went after this fake woman, and I'm glad she robbed you blind. Well, the tears were satisfying when he was walking down the street talking about, yeah, the bank's not gonna, they're not gonna give me anything back. Good. Good, damn it. You deserved it, Oscar. Oscar's the worst, especially with that mustache and we'll get to it. I have a slide for it specifically. But the fact that he is just he's not even a whole man. He's like a piece of a fraction of a man. Like, who doesn't want to work? And who's asking a grown woman for an allowance? Tyra, talk to me about Oscar. I went off on the deep end.
Well, for me, it's that they have Oscar skipping through the city like he's an attractive spring chicken. You don't even give that. Look at here. I'm tired of y'all trying to sell these homely people to us. Cut it out. All right?
Ain't nobody, because they not fine,
They
Jesus.
stay selling a pot of gold in a homely face, but like a ugly woman's blues. You stay selling somebody to us on this show and just expecting us to believe it. Like, Oscar is just not that. So the fact that he even thinks that he has all these options and, I'm going to lay on the charm. I'm going to, throw some of this money and the hoes going to love this. No, Oscar. Oscar lacks ambition. Oscar wants to be the woman. Like, you can't. I think that's what it is, which could be like a really, really interesting narrative with him being a gay man. It's not like he just wants to be a gay man secretly and outwardly present as this, uber masculine, strong-minded, work ethic, who wouldn't want to be married to me. No, Oscar wants to live his soft girl. You can't marry Gladys and you want to be Gladys. He wants to live in his soft girl. Like, work? Why? Me? Hard? But I just woke up. Like, oh God, I just want to walk down the street and be opulent and have my way with boys. I don't want to work. Good son, no. Like, no. It's just not presenting in that way. I really don't see anybody taking Oscar on as a husband. So I want to know what they're going to do with him now. Like, can we move on from that? Because I just really don't see that happening. Can we just do something with Oscar to where he does something really big, really grand, or he knows what it is to earn $1 and, becomes a little bit more, business minded or something. But for him to just be this whack ass man waiting on an allowance and somebody to, throw down their hair and just let him up on a ladder and into this family of wealth. And he's just sad. Boy, ain't nobody taking you on. And if we were like his little suitor, the one last season that he was rubbing on, somebody might take him on. Oscar, you're old in the face, baby. It's time to grow up and do something.
It is. And he's not charming. He's not charismatic in any way. The other things that you would have to be attractive to a woman.
Yes.
He's just none of those. And Swanky, I could almost get behind this, except his suitor, his man on the Lolo, chose a better option. He didn't do that. He was like, I'm going to live my life as a gentleman. I'm going to live a bachelor's life. That's the life I'm going to choose because I don't want to involve any innocent woman in my, whatever. I don't want to put on a charade, and I can respect that. So, and I think Oscar, hearing him say that, could have taken that on himself, but he acted like he even had the nerve to try to cry about it. Like, I really liked her. Like, I
No,
it
not
wasn't love.
that.
It wasn't
I would
twisted,
have
but
what I thought we
it
were
was
going to get with Oscar. I would have loved for him to either be just so sharp and seamlessly divided in his secret life in the real world that you would be none the wiser, and he is cooking with the ladies. If it's not that, he finds somebody who is comfortable, because we have these forced dynamics in marriages. Like, let's just say if it was Gladys. If you're going to be that and we know who we are and I'm free to go and have my life, yeah, I'll take Oscar on because I get to still do what I want, but also present in this marriage that my mom wants me to be in. Like a lavender maybe type situation, also a beard, but it's also beneficial with the woman because we know that. And we kind of have the story of them playing and in the house and, we're hubby-dubby on the street, but as soon as we get in the house, so how's your man? Did you have a good time? Okay, well, how, it's not that. So it's like, if you're not going to give us something, then we're kind of left with nothing. And we didn't even have to have him sulk and deal with, I got my family into this position. Let me pull my big boy draws up and get us out and try to get us some money. We had the sister come through with the money. So now what?
Yeah,
No.
we don't need you. You're good for nothing. Desi, this, I agree. Oscar needs to be upfront and find a lesbian woman who wants a
Yeah,
lavender wedding. That's
yeah,
all we got to do.
yeah.
That's
That's
all
what
we got
I
to
said.
do.
I just
There are
said that.
there are some lesbian women, I promise you, in the Gilded Age that he could have come across and got this situation. Now let's get over here to Larry, honey. I like Larry. Larry, for all intents and purposes, have given me what I needed from a character, from his affair with the widow, honey, that his mama messed that up too, to him standing on business about the woman who was behind building the Brooklyn Bridge. Like, he seems like he stands for what's right. He has integrity. He comes from money, but he gonna work. Hear me. You heard that? He come from money, but he's going to work. And I loved how Aunt Ada was like, bring Larry over here so he can teach Oscar something, because Oscar's not getting the concept. But again, I don't know if this polite, delicate affection that he has for Miss Brooks, I don't even know if it's two sided. What I do know about Larry is he's very impulsive. We know he falls fast, but
Mhm.
how long lasting is it? Is there longevity to this? Because Auntie Agnes said, "Listen, you got two strikes. Third strikes, you're out. You don't get all these chances in society to have a failed marriage or engagement, right? You're gonna be, a spinster, as they like to say." But now we have Larry over here working with John, aka Jack, because Jack is his nickname, but the footman's name is John. I had to go back because I was like, I'm calling him Jack. They calling him John and Jack. Okay, anyway, but he's working on the alarm clock with him. I think he has integrity and it's going to be a good move. We'll get into that later in the slides. But overall, I like Larry. Larry is like a softer version of his father. I don't see his mama in him at all yet, and I hope we don't. Tyra, is Larry hiding something, or is he really as good as we think he might be?
He is his your daddy son. I
Mhm.
don't know completely about the clock situation in Jack. I'm still on the fence about it because he does seem to have really good intentions, but when push comes to shove and it's about a dollar, I don't know. You're still you. I mean, he has very great characteristics and all this integrity, and he does seem like he wants to do the right thing, like mentioning the woman who worked on the Brooklyn Bridge, or even sometimes with his intentions. But you've been in that house with the people for all your life. Something's there. Something's
Mhm.
there. I don't know. I don't know. For Jack's sake, I hope not. But I don't want to fall for it too quickly. Even with how he's so instantaneously ready to pour into little Snow White, and it's
Yeah.
never just been like him waiting and pining for the moment. If I it's just like, oh no, girl, like what, like whatever. And that's why it's sad to hear her say stuff like, I just need more time. Maybe he's only
Girl.
as faithful as what seems to be in front of him that's desirable. Because maybe the way he was ready to risk it all for that older woman very quickly,
Mhm.
like he falls quickly. So who's to say he couldn't fall for someone else while you're having him, be a man in waiting? I don't know. But I really do like Larry's character. I do like that he does want to make his own headway as a man and not just fall on, new money and family business. And yeah, I'm just going to be following that path laid ahead for me. But it's like, no, I want to forge ahead and do my own things. And that way I can do them differently. But I think the clock situation is going to be a testament to who he really is.
I agree, and it better work
Yeah.
out. Thank you, Desi, for the $5 super sticker. We appreciate you. Hiya, and again, coming through on the other side, which y'all know we love, Desi. Thank you so much for the $5 super sticker. Incredible, incredible is what you said. We appreciate you being here tonight. Let's get on over here. Is this the real slides? Okay, so finally we're into the episode. Ah, girl, this pissed me off so bad.
An hour later, it's crazy.
Girl, I know. I'm like, oh, we're into the slides now. I didn't expect that. Hey, who knew we had so much to say about the Gilded Age? But I got to get back. I got to get back to 61st Street because my life is there. This scene was infuriating to me, Miss Scott, because I knew we were going to start this season fresh. She done quit the paper and that married man. I
Yeah.
said, okay, she's going to be on her big one. She's going to be out here writing her own stuff, doing her own thing. And you mean to tell me it was so deep to get back to 61st Street? You went out in a blizzard, in a snowstorm, and telling your well-appointed home goodbye and your beautiful mother. Please, Miss Scott. Tyra, talk to me about this. What's the urgency to get back to 61st Street and go sleep in the
Go back
basement?
up. Cause they don't know what to do with her outside of that home and outside of that damn circle. They don't know what to do or right for her if she's not in that home. I too thought with her leaving, and even, I was really happy to see her go back home and to see her bask in who they are and what they have. Like, because everybody's not living the way that they are as a black family in Brooklyn. They are not. So just to see them kind of make amends, even if it's slowly, it's good. And as much as her mother loves her, like, girl, go over there with your people. Go
Yeah.
over there with your people. Or even, I think that moment last season where she was so wrapped up in writing in the articles and the goings on across the way. And you had mom say, well, there's stuff going on right here, in Brooklyn. And then I think we got into the schools and the situation. And maybe her figuring out stories with her own in her diaspora, and maybe how she can be a figurehead in the community and still kind of meet her dad at that kind of crossway, and just we went right back into the quarters.
Right
We
back.
went right
Right
and got
back.
sick when we got over there, didn't we? We went right
Mhm.
back over there. So I'm like, please don't just pull her into yes, ma'am. And we already have her down there with the good working folk, with the maids and the we already have her down there having a good old meal and a talk. And don't get me wrong, I love their dynamic and how accepting they are of her, and it's all very warm. But I don't want her in that room.
Mm-mm.
I don't want her in that room. And baby, when we saw her this episode and she was in there and she had that nightgown on and them pigtails, it gave slave quarters. So get her the hell up out of there. I
Trust
didn't like
immediately.
it did. I just think there's just so much opportunity being missed here, and so much of a visual being missed here from what we can see and how they kind of band together that moment with the schools and things like that. That doesn't have to be the narrative every single episode, but just for her individually, I would think she would want more than to be there. But okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I just don't mess this up. Of course, we see, it's only been 6 months since Dashiell. I can't be seen out in public with you, yet you're kissing on the stoop in front of the house, in front of everyone. Like, y'all got to make it make sense for me. And he this quiet affection, this quiet yearning that he has for her. Again, I just hope it's not short lived. She is so lucky in love, like unlucky in love at this point. I don't believe it's gonna happen, and I don't really ever know how Miss Brooks feels. Like, is she ever really enamored? Like, she was kind of on the first guy who didn't want her because she didn't have no coin. But Dashiell, of course, that wasn't anything. But here, I really want to see some reciprocity, and I see him giving all the effort, but I don't see her swooning. Like, even in her alone time, even when she's talking to Miss Scott, like, it's
Mhm.
like, no, I have to keep this a complete secret. And I wonder if it really is a true love, is it possible to keep it a secret, even from the people that you can really trust? Tyra, is she going to mess this up? Is he going to mess it up?
Child, Danny, don't even mention some of that. I love that moment where they were all dressed to the nines, having that rooftop party. I was like, oh yeah,
Hmm.
this is where we supposed to be at, but we ain't over there. It's fine, it's cool.
Yeah.
Um, First of all, this little fur blue, this girl, this is cute. She ain't decked out coming down that stoop every single time. I will give her
Mhm.
that, or just for
Mhm.
the
Right.
casual dining situation. I love her costuming, but I think this is so they can play in our face more, because there's been some push and pull with them since the moment that she touched down. And now that we finally get it, now you need to wait. Now you like now a warning. Now you want to,
Mhm.
take things, and I just have to. I don't know. I don't think that there is. Well, is there like a time back then to where it's like, oh, it's only been 6 months since that last guy
Well,
proposed
mourning was supposed to be a year, like, where you wear black or like,
to him.
the armband. That was supposed to be like 6 months to a
But
year,
it's
right?
not like you were married.
Yeah.
It's not like
Yeah.
he died. It's not like you were divorced. That was a suitor, correct? Who,
Yeah.
like, and I'm thinking at
Proposed.
this time, for you to be chose, baby, you're supposed to have, multiple. You got to see and then really put yourself out there and get that man. Girl, he here.
Right
I
there.
don't know if this isn't as grand of a gesture for her. Does she want him to do more or get to know more or take things slow? I get that, but I was like, girl, y'all going down to the opera. It ain't gonna do nothing. You'll be okay. So the fact that she said no, it just seems like the story arc is leaving opportunity for someone to come in and like, oh, who's this? Huh?
Hmm.
Oh, you're going together? Oh, hip hip, girl, girl, go on down there, go on down there. And I just don't want them to keep kind of going tit for tat with their dynamic because it's not interesting enough to have us linger. It's
Yeah.
just not, how we have those long awaited, series, and it's like, oh my God, it took 6 seasons to get them together, and we're so happy about it. Oh my goodness, poke in the wine. This
Right.
isn't that. Y'all don't have enough stock in us as viewers to just really keep us hanging on. So either do it or don't. But I don't want her being jealous at the fact that he might be entertaining other women if you're not going to
Yeah.
give him the full floor.
Listen, because old girl was throwing it out of every drawer like he was cracking it before. So just wait. I don't, I'm just saying. And I could have almost even respected her character more if what she said in season 2 was true. When she's breaking it off with Dashiell, it's like, I want to live my life. I want to see
Yeah.
what's out there. I want to pursue that. And maybe she wants to be single. Maybe Miss Brooks doesn't want marriage. And I think that's okay to explore too at that time. That might be a really interesting concept to wrap our heads around. Wow, there were women then who didn't view marriage as the end all be all. You know what I mean? I think that would have been an interesting approach as well. But if you're going to give us this, give us steam heat and quit playing. Quit playing with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Come on, baby. Don't play with it. I want to know again. I told you I had a slide for we revisit it. But Larry and Mr. John, Mr. AKA Jack, and this clock, I'm taking a meeting. It's out of town, but no, Jack, you can't come. I'm gonna handle this one on my own. I don't want to overwhelm them. But again, everything else prior, Larry has moved with a lot of integrity. Jack does have his patent. It's in his name, so he has the patent for it. So he has some protections there. But is this going to be a disaster? Is this a bad idea? I don't. Jack needs to come up out the basement.
Girl, one of the best things that this show had to offer, though it's small and it probably was like, oh, this is this inconsequent, like servant, like who cares? I really like the arc that we're having with Jack because you want to rag to riches and you want some of those servants and people who are just expected to be in this position all their lives to uprise to know that it's not always about societal standings, and you too can be here just like Miss Thing, and I didn't have to open my legs to do it neither. Like, there's some brilliance here because you can't tell me that one of the things I don't care for with the show is that anyone who is a servant, all of their lives for the most part revolve around who they're serving. We don't really get too much into their narratives. We do have little peaks and valleys, like we have the fake French chef, and him kind of embarking on a relationship with, like, I really like those moments, and we don't have enough of those. So when we get something like Jack, it's really great for me. Great, like juicy storytelling and messy, baby, he would steal it. He would steal it because his thing is, I want to make a name for myself. I want to be, up there. I don't want to just be the one who didn't level up when it came up to everything my dad did and what I had to offer to the world. I want to forge ahead and be Jack X, Y, and Z. If this clock is everything that we think it is, this is an opportunity to do that. I feel like we need to be messy and he need to go and take it. I don't want that from Jack. And even the way we had that little shrimpy ass servant girl, whatever her name is, whoever she is, get in Jack's face this episode and
Oh,
go,
we gonna
how
get
could
to
you,
it. I got a slide for
how,
that girl.
when you have,
I gotta
all
watch
of
more.
that, and he's just really thinking that he has the best intentions, and even the way he worded it here, oh no, I don't want to overwhelm them. Overwhelm them with what?
What? That's what I'm saying. Another
I'm
person?
the one, who got it done. You said here yourself when I brought the idea to you that um I don't know the inner workings, and I wouldn't even think to even know, how to say how this operates and works, but I'm interested. Okay, well, what are you having a meeting about if you can't talk about it? And why is it in secret? You would think you would want me there to be the voice to explain what these people are maybe about to profit off of
Mhm.
or put business into. The fact that he doesn't want them there says a whole lot. I think he's trying to play in his face. I personally, and I think this is also why we have Snow White over there being kind of, oh, it's a little too early to be stepping out and I need more time. So that whenever this envelops and it's like, well, damn, you're not at all who I thought you were. When I told you to, work with Jack and help Jack, it was, for this reason. How could you do this to him? I think that's where we're going.
But the Van Rhines know, Ada knows, the whole house over there knows. So how could he do that? Like everyone would
Money,
know.
money. How could
Oh
he?
my
Money.
God.
I
How
think this
could
is
he? Oh, I
when
can't receive it.
Bertha and Daddy Russell and all those things that has been, instilled in him, money, power, respect, and name, some notoriety in the community, I think that's going to trump whatever piece of paper or patent that Jack may have. And I think it's going to be like a lesson and, a letdown to the audience because we want Jack to succeed so hard. But why can I be at the meeting, sir?
Oh my God. No. Jasmine, I think Larry's taking those drawings to have someone else make a minor tweak and run with a new patent. Jasmine, I won't be able to take it. I will
Uh-huh.
be so
See, I'm
I
telling
will be
you.
so devastated. I can't. I
Yeah.
need him to be good. I
Mhm.
need somebody over there in that Russell household to be good. I just do. And he's trying to champion Gladys right now. Like I need Larry to stay and remain good. But I had to go right here immediately because never trust a street urchin. All right. Riff raff street rat. I don't buy that. Adelaide can go directly somewhere else, stay a servant your entire life, but don't try to kill someone's dreams. And I feel like this was a word. This will preach. This was a message in this. Like, if you have big dreams and hopes and desires and things you want to achieve in the world, don't let the street urchins come in and change your mind about what you've got your mind made up to do, about your vision, about your dream, about your purpose. Because when she says, "Yeah, Larry's not taking you seriously," like, how dare you? You forgot your station. Like, you're above yourself now. Like, you're doing too much to have a senior footman serve you a cup of coffee just because Master Larry offered it to you. Like, really, he's like, we're not back in the old country, right? Like, it doesn't have to be like your families. We're in America. There's new opportunity. I wouldn't have explained anything to this hoe across the street. We don't even have to speak. Don't, if you see me and I'm walking down the street, walk on by. Cross the street, honey. Go the other direction because I feel like she's a ne'er do well. I feel like this was said with all of the most evilest of intentions. I don't think there was any goodness or, let me pull his coattail. I think she's just a hater, and I hate that for him. What did you think of this interaction with the street urchin, Adelaide?
Girl, come outside, Shrimpy. We just want to talk. Girl, come outside. This was tired. We already got to deal with that heifer. Who's the evil heifer that works across the street in the kitchen who's just miserable? Oh,
Armstrong?
yeah, yeah. We already
Yeah.
have her over there being the voice of hell every single opportunity that she gets. And this was so odd to me from her. They've had this little like, well, if it's not gonna be
I
boo in the
like you.
kitchen,
Yeah.
let me go across the street and see what it's hitting for, girl, because I ain't gonna keep asking you out. And
Hmm.
then it's just like you're out of like I was whoa. I thought she was gonna be all like, way to go, proud of you, but make sure that I think that this is just setting the motion for the wheels to spin and to be across the street with an I told you so. I feel like
No,
Larry
no.
is gonna Larry
Oh,
and Larry gonna try to maybe offer this man some money and a check to make it seem like, oh, it's all okay. When Jack is like, but it's my idea. It's about the money, but this is my idea. How could you go and pursue and do this
oh
without me?
God.
It's not just about you handing me over some money. Because that's the one thing he did say before he got, handed that little high tea. Oh, I'm about to make you rich and da, 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 da. Yeah. But what about my idea? I think he's about to steal it, and it's just going to be that. And then we'll maybe have Jack move on to, greater greener pastures, and know that I need to make sure I always have my own
Protect
identity and be
himself.
mindful of who I'm working with and protecting. Maybe I can do something even grander as, even if it's not clockwork, just whatever. But I do know that I won't be aligning myself with the wealthy, just assuming the best next time.
Oh God. Well, listen, I'm gonna keep hope alive. My Jack is gonna make it out the basement, just like old boy did last season. We saw that whole journey and we got a positive ending for him. He had gone from being,
I'm
a
not saying he
gentleman to
won't.
losing it.
I'm not saying he won't. He's gonna make it out the basement, but I think it's gonna be under the guise of You ain't never gotta worry about me chumming it up with somebody. Yeah, whatever I do next is gonna be on my own accord, alone.
Oh Lord, oh God. Get counsel, get wise counsel. And at least Bannister looks after him. So maybe we'll get to see Bannister, who is like the head of everything in the Van Rhijn house. Maybe he'll step in because he helped him with getting into the watchmakers union.
He
So
did.
maybe he'll help him here and lend some advice or
Yeah,
wisdom. Lord.
or even if it's that, like, keep it in the house, keep it in the family. Like, everybody who was there to immediately lift Jack up, they were people that were within his station. And it's
Yeah.
like, maybe it's not the smartest decision to align myself with money, thinking that I'm going to have a greater outcome.
Yeah. I mean, and we're not mad at lessons learned as long as he still gets out the basement, but that would just ruin Larry for me. That would completely ruin him for me. But easing on down the road, I don't service the blacks. Of course, Miss Scott is in there sick and dying, coughing up a lung, honey. Even Mary and Miss Brooks had to go up there and serve her. You didn't even eat any of your soup. Just try to rest. No, I don't need a doctor. Miss Van Rhijn comes in there because she got to stomp through. Girl, you need to see a doctor. I'm calling the doctor. No, don't do it. They leave the hallway. Mary's like, are you going to call a doctor? Yeah, I'll call Dr. So and so. Ada gives her the look like, you sure about that? Yeah, he knows her. He knows that's my secretary, whatever. That man gets there, comes down 2 seconds later, and is like, I don't serve coloreds. I don't service the blacks. Agnes is like, you're going to regret that. He doesn't even know what's coming for him. So I'm wondering if she's going to be on a campaign this season. Immediately, they're like, send a telegram to the parents. That's the only wise thing Oscar, I think, has ever said. Get to her parents immediately and tell them what's happening with her. And Ada pissed me off too here because her dad doesn't run a pharmacy. He owns a pharmacy. Like, he owns the shop, Ada. Be respectful. But what did you think about this moment? Why did they think that their privilege would supersede what was going on in the world at the time?
Because it's Agnes. It's Agnes. Like, who is Agnes? Like, what you will never do is play in my face. Your father owns a whole damn pharmacy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I really don't like Peggy's narrative. Cause the strong black woman of it all. Oh, I don't want to make a fuss. You about to just die up here.
Yeah,
I
let me
don't
write
want to
the
make
book.
a fuss. I don't.
Gotta
And
get
the
these
fact
funds.
that we were just gonna let it rock. Nobody was gonna notify her people. Nobody. She wouldn't even. You didn't even think to notify your own people, and you're just up in here not making a fuss for the whites. No, don't call any. Don't call nobody. I mean, so what you mean? Don't call nobody? Like, clearly, this is more than what they think it is. This is not your average cold. Who knows what it is? But
Yeah.
I am really interested to see what happens next, because the fact that Ada doesn't he like work at a pharmacy or something? Like, they don't know her.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know where she comes from, even at the expense of little Snow White over there. Miss Brooks went on down and was peeking of, well, this ain't too far from our own
Yeah.
damn accommodations.
Yeah.
It's looking
Like,
real. Oh, you got a whole maid and everything. Like, you won't
I
come
don't
work for me and be
know.
my maid? Hell no, because I have my own. I have my own. And we never discuss, like, we probably need to be handling Miss Peggy accordingly, because even I think when before she went there and she was taking the shoes, and she's like, where are you going? Oh, I'm going to visit Peggy in Brooklyn. Oh, I would want someone to come visit me and bring me some if I was living in Brooklyn. Yeah, I'm living real nice in Brooklyn. They don't
Mm-hmm.
know that. So I do like that we're going to have these intersections meet for you to know that, baby, put your nose down. Put
Mm-hmm.
it down a little bit, because even though she's here in the capacity of being your secretary and being upstairs or downstairs or whatever in these servant quarters, she doesn't have to be. She's doing this by choice. So hopefully it gets real cute when they come over, but we shall see.
We absolutely will, because I'm still trying to reconcile in my mind, like, all right, your dad is trash. He did what he did, but would that make
Mhm.
me sleep in the servants' quarters rather than my well appointed, luxurious bedroom at my home with my own maid and own
Mhm.
servants who don't give me no lip? Like, I can't, I don't understand why we would make our life harder. But we see her in the rest of the season trailer, so we know that Peggy doesn't die from whatever this is, but
Yeah.
I don't know what she got. It sounds bad. And
No,
while she's still trying to type
and
pages.
it's not even that. It's the kind of the they're also having these moments, and I don't know if we're going to continue with that. Hopefully, not this season, where it's like eventually I'm going to win over Miss Armstrong, and we're going to have this
Hmm.
like this quest to. I don't. She don't need to do that either. Like, just get her out of there, please. I'm just
Girl, and
saying.
that's what she did last season already when Agnes was like, "Yeah, Peggy, Miss Scott put in a good word for you, Armstrong. Why would she do that? Like, girl, we didn't need that. She doesn't need to be the black with the super
Pushing
cape
for it.
on, the superhero. Like, saving all the mean whites. Like, girl, please stop. Easing on over here because apparently they're gonna make her instrumental. So I had to throw the slide in. I've never liked Aurora. Aurora has always been a pass around, just a means to an end for the story.
Go
And pass around friends, not that kind of pass around. But I've just always been annoyed with her because she'll do whatever whatever it takes to just stay, right? I just want the status quo. Like, I don't want more. I don't want less. I don't want to be on the outs. I don't want to be this. I just want to be okay, right? And so we saw Bertha use her relentlessly to get into the good graces of the other women in society because she had leverage on the husband. Well, now Aurora is getting ready to go to the opera with her husband. He comes home like, let's
random.
celebrate my divorce. I met someone else. I'm leaving you. And for a white woman, yes, and for a white woman, he's leaving her, and she's devastated. So apparently, the rule of law, the only thing that would justify divorce was adultery. And so, in order for this divorce to take place, she'd have to file against him since he's the adulterer. He says, it's fine. I'm fine with admitting it in open court, like it's all good, but you have to file because, yeah, you don't have grounds to file against me. She's refusing to give him this divorce. Because she says her role in society will be heavily diminished, and we see that when she goes to meet Aunt Agnes and Auntie Ada, and they're like, "You'll be happier by yourself if this happens. You won't want to be in society. You won't want to come over to family dinner anymore." So she will be exiled. He wants her to move to Newport where it won't be in the paper, it won't be on page 5. But again, he could give a damn about this lady. Uh, like, he could care less, and she is just proclaimed. And it's not about him so much as it's about her status. You don't hear her once say, "But I love you so much." Like, I no, what's gonna happen to me? Like, I'm gonna be a social pariah, Tyra.
Girl, this was abrupt as hell. So when did you come? He was like, "Well, I lost my car in the parking garage." Like, it was so quick. We've never got any hints throughout these seasons that they had an unhappy marriage or anything. He barely, says much.
Hmm.
And when we did get anything, it was along the Bertha, and the quest of it all, and what are we going to do, and old money and new money, and these alliances, and oh, okay, let's go on down to the house. But it was never like this marriage is dead and loveless, and I'm sneaking that. So this was like really left field to me. But I think that it was a lot of stuff, and the writing isn't bad. A lot of stuff is just for the complete convenience of the plot that season because
Hmm.
we need these things to happen. I think Aurora is going to be kind of the open catalyst that we can view about the laws and what women can and can't do at this point, married or not, and things
Hmm.
changing. And we'll see it here because I was like, "What the hell?" Okay, that was quick. Um, since they are centering her, and for so long she's been the, "Well, Bertha, are you going to come?" "Well, I'm not good at, I've never had a backbone or anything to stand on. I'm not good." Yeah, it's just very that. So is she gonna really find her voice? Is Aurora gonna get some type of strong character foundation within this women's suffrage movement, or are we going to do something with her, or is it just like, "Oh, I don't want to lose my station"? Like, don't do this if we're not going to actually do something with her. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
But it just looks like this will be. If it's not doing something with her, that means we're doing something with Miss Brooks. We're doing something with, I'm like, y'all gotta do something with somebody. You gotta get the least, lackluster characters between herself and Miss Brooks to me, to just maybe have this moment be the catalyst for Miss Brooks to get more active, or for Aurora to find this newfound, these things matter. I don't want anybody else to end up like I did. I was blindsided. The laws need to change. I don't know, but do something with them, because this was quick as hell.
Yeah, and I don't mind a plot device if it furthers the narrative or what we're pushing towards. However, no one cares about Aurora. So you're going to have to, in some way, ingratiate her to the audience. And at this point, like I said, she's been a pass around it. We have not felt anything for Aurora up to this point. And even in this, which should be like a solemn or like a sad, we should be empathetic. I could give a damn. Like I said, there was never any mention of love or care and concern. It was primarily about, I'm not going to be accepted in society. And I get it. It was a different time. That was of like the
Yeah.
greatest import. It didn't seem like the women had a ton to do in their lives outside of what they could do in society. But like, y'all got to make us like her first, or something. Like, cause, and even he was like, you can get whatever you want. Like, it's fine. I just need this divorce. You'll be taken care of. Like, you'll go out to Newport. It was very matter of fact. It was very matter of fact. I do hope she finds a purpose in it. I do hope
Mhm.
maybe she connects with Miss Brooks, because they've always had an affinity, and maybe she will champion one of these charities or organizations that the sisters want to go to. Hold
I
on.
think
Yeah,
she's. Mm.
y'all judging, but the truth is women's worth in society was determined by who they married back then. Why should her life change because he wants to renege? My thing is, he'll ruin her reputation if she doesn't do this. Like, he's not going to stay married to her.
Mm.
It
I
doesn't,
just
he's not.
This is going to be like the catalyst of these. This is the way the things were, and now they're changing, and this is why we need to be more adamant about women's rights and the way that the laws lay, even for marriage. I think this is going to really get us into some type of motion and movement there.
Yeah. Thank you, the Love Glam 26. I like this. See, Larry may know his kind may look down on Jack. That may be why he's excluding him from the meeting. Thank you. I need it.
Maybe, could not. I needed this. Could be. Could be. Could be. Maybe. Could be not. I don't know. We shall see.
And he is, y'all. He is putting her out to pasture. I just want to feel more. Like I said, I haven't cared for her character since the beginning. So, and like I said, it's just I won't be able to go out to fancy dinners. And I get it. It's society, and that's what it was then. But it just
Yeah.
seems
And it's
so.
all saying, it's all changing. And then you have Miss Brooks sit there. Well, it does matter to some people want more than just, it's like, change is a coming. All of these set marriages where you're marrying out of convenience and wealth, and because we're both in this, part of society, it's ending. And now this man, it seems like he's just, I'm over here for love and lust because I have this with this woman and not so much with you.
Yeah, but here's the thing, like I said, he's asking for the divorce for a reason. He clearly wants to marry this other woman. He's not gonna stay married to her, y'all. Like, it's not just about the philandering of it all, because he just would have stayed cheating. Like, you know what I mean? Him asking her a
She'll be
divorce for
satisfied if he told her, "I'm gonna
yeah,
have my cake and eat it too here, and I don't want to hear nothing about it."
yeah,
She was gonna go. She was gonna do it happily.
yeah,
She's like,
yeah.
no, I want to be
But
done
him
with it.
but him asking for a divorce means he's gonna get a divorce. He's doing it with intention and purpose. He wants to marry that new lady he's with. She doesn't have a choice in the matter. Like, either like I said, he's gonna put something on her, which would utterly and completely ruin her, or
Mhm.
she's gonna go ahead and file them papers, like he said.
Or do
Cause
you think this will be a change for these two here to, if she is, kind of on the outskirts of society now because she is divorced? Will this cause, some shaking in the foundation of, when not our family, like, because maybe the way Agnes was kind of standing on business in this episode, well, you probably wouldn't even want to come down there. Don't even worry yourself with that. Will this shift something about how we're treating? Like, because, one moment you're out, and the moment it's something else, I'm divorced or my financial status changes, I'm kicked out.
Well, Miss Brooks said there, and that's what prompted Agnes's response. It was like, no, but you can still, we'll still have dinners and parties that you can come to, right, Aunt Agnes? Hell no, she can't. And Ada, that was the one time she was quiet this episode, and I was really disappointed in Ada because I thought she would be more progressive. Like, now I have a cute coin, I get it, but it was Ada. Do what you can to make it work. Like, no, don't get the divorce because it'll just be harder. It'll be terrible if you do. It'll be the end of the world. And I get it; they're making it impactful, and I think it was a huge thing back then. But again, you have like in storytelling, and I get it. If we don't like the character, you had to make him so terrible for us to care about this moment in this situation. Um, like I said, or we would have just really had to like her for it to be felt. And maybe we'll see the gravity of it as the season progresses. I just I was sitting there like,
Girl.
oh,
Okay.
like, oh,
Because it was
yeah.
casual. He went in there like he was ordering off of the menu at McDonald's. It's like, well, I want a divorce. Like I'm not having. I never want. Like it was just very happenstance, and it's like we're not. What are we supposed to be like? Oh no, not Aurora. We don't really know her like that. Y'all didn't give her too much personality anyway.
Yeah. What I'm saying is she does have a choice not to, but that gives him the choice to make up something against her. That's what I'm
And I
saying.
think she has, at least at this point, I think actually saying at least this way, she still kind of has power. Where if he flips it, because he can say whatever, and due to society, they're gonna believe him.
Okay.
So I would think she would want to go the other way and lean into that versus him painting her out to be some despicable,
Harlot.
cheating, adulterous harlot woman, because they're gonna believe him because he's the man.
And he's got the money. Like at
Yeah.
the end of the day, that's what I'm saying. You do this the easy way, you do this the hard way. What they say. That's all I'm saying. He's going to get what he wants at the end of the day. But easing on down the road, this was the title of the episode. I think it's really because basically the servants are in a tizzy now because we know Ada is pulling the purse strings, but in name, Agnes is still the power in the household. And so they want to know who's really in charge. And I want to know from you guys in the chat and you, Tyra, who's really in charge here? Who is?
By default, it's always going to be Agnes. Okay, you know what? I would have let Ada, I would have let her have it. If we would have really had this meeting happen and he'd be like, oh, okay, Ada, I see you cooking. This we brought them people in the house. We put out them chairs, and they said you were going to be, eternal damnation if you sipped Kool-Aid. I said, oh, Lord. And she was just sitting there soaking it up. They made her instantly unserious. They made her calls instantly unserious. So it's kind of like, oh, look at it. When you give a child some money and they don't know what to do with it. Like, oh, God, Ada, here you go. And it's just like, are we going to have her in the circus of it all really throwing her money around at these causes without any real intention or purpose, or have someone come along and take advantage of her because she's always going to be the belittled, naive little sister who doesn't know any better? And you need to always be tethered to Agnes to have somebody wrangle you in and snap you back into reality and make the sound decisions. Like, they instantly told us, yeah, this episode. I didn't feel like they left a lot of room to just go like, okay, Ada, she about to get out here and we're gonna see, who she is and what she's made of and what kind of decisions she makes once she is, the rabbit holding the gun and she has the money in the house. No. You do this and they're sitting there having a kiki and we're gonna go have tea. Like, they were laughing. And that's half the room that wasn't asleep.
Ariel says Agnes' name on the deed. Listen, name on the deed. It's on the deed. Somebody said earlier in the chat, and I think it's true, but I want to ask you, Tyra. They said Agnes won't be broke for long. She's going to find a way to come up on some coin, and so she won't be under Ada's thumb. What do you think? Is
I mean,
Agnes
she's
going to
not
make
under her
some?
thumb now. She's not under there now. It's not as if she's had to be sat and shut up because now little sister has the money. Already this episode, she's gonna go, you're not using my damn silver. No, we're gonna have this. Well, who the hell put that on the menu? Well, why would you do that? Well, take that down. Well, how many chairs? You should just go rent out a whole damn space. You're gonna get everybody. Like, she's not being sat and quiet. It's not like her real like power has just been snipped because now she doesn't have the money. It's still her. And it will
Yeah.
be different even if the servants shift and they just didn't listen to her at all. And it's like, well, madam, we're sorry, but you're not writing the check for us anymore. Then we could
Yeah.
be like, no, they're still, well, she said this, what Agnes said, what Ada said. She still doesn't have it. And like, don't play in our face with her. Don't always make Ada the joke. Please.
Yeah,
Please.
they are. Because Bannister was like, Miss Ada, is that okay with you? Like, because yeah, you the reason we're still here. But I got two sets of dinner menus tonight. What are we cooking? So I'm wondering if what they're gonna have to do. I didn't see how problematic it was just to listen to both of them. You've been listening to the both of them for years, but I guess as far as who's coming over, how we're entertaining, what we're doing, I guess it's different when you have a whole staff that are working for you. But here we go over here, and we saw a conversation earlier where Agnes expressed her displeasure with Oscar. He's sorry, he's nothing. Matter of fact, Ada, do you want me to kick him out of the house? Like, no, girl, it's fine. It's fine. Now he has the unmitigated gall and audacity to say, Auntie Ada, can I have an allowance? Listen, I'm the reason you're not on Skid Row. I'm the reason you're not out here on the streets selling that Bucci cat. Like I said in my review, I'm the reason, right? You can eat 3 meals a day. You have a place to lay your head, but you need a job. Hell no, I'm not giving a grown man an allowance. I was actually very surprised that Aunt Ada stood on business because she's babied Oscar. Oscar has been like, her little put 'em there up until this point. And so for her to be like, no, you need to man up. Go see about Larry. He gonna help you and teach you and show you how to be a man. And Auntie Agnes is right because you need a job. I'm trying to, you need a job. You're a disappointment as a son. I hate your stinking guts. Get a job, but I'm never giving you an allowance. Tyra, and asking for a grown man asking his auntie for an allowance is crazy.
Was he getting one from Agnes all this
Well, he was getting one from the estate, remember, because he was the male heir. That's how he had
time?
access to
Oh,
the
okay.
family money because it was his father who died.
Ah, okay. All makes sense. I was surprised that she said no. I was surprised. That's why I'm like, don't play on her time. There's some sense up there in them heels. Like it's there. She's like, yeah, I'm gonna provide you, three hots and a cot, room and board. But you need to find something to do. Like basically get a job. Get a
Get a job.
passion. It's not cool for you to just be here ringing the bell waiting on your next drink, and then when you decide to get decked out and go make a night out on the town, it's going to be on my dime because I'm providing you with allowance. No,
Mm,
no, you
mm.
won't. So I was happy with that, but hopefully he does something. Like his character is just so blah, you know
Deplorable.
it's just blah. And I really want him to what I thought we were going to get when I thought for 5 minutes that they were going to be broke. Like, okay, I need to really become, the lead of this household, the man, tap into something that I am passionate about work wise beyond, trying to be a kept man and find my next meal ticket. Let me pick my family back up because I got us into this. We kind of took that away, giving her that money, but hopefully there's still something left there for him to want to have his own independence because she's not about to fund his lifestyle.
Yeah.
We'll
Yeah.
see.
We shall see. I like this, all things to Shia. I wouldn't count Aurora Fane out just yet. Yes, her husband can demand and push for a divorce. However, if he pushes too hard and ruthlessly, she can become a dangerous woman. Okay. All right. All right. All right. All right. I'm here to see something from her character. I'll be well pleased if we see something, and give Gladys free, Tyra. We're working our way on towards the end. She likes this Mr. Carrollton. Let her be with Mr. Carrollton. Larry done spirited her away. They're doing a double date. He's with Miss Brooks. She's with her boo. His mama's there, Mrs. Carrollton, and she didn't get the memo, right? So she decides that she's gonna go back and tell Bertha. Yeah, I'm just waiting to hear the announcement of our two getting together. What do you mean? What announcement? Because Bertha, this episode, has released articles to the newspapers giving the whereabouts of the Duke, making innuendo that Gladys and the Duke are intended. She is doing a whole political media campaign back in the early 1900s to ensure and solidify this union. Um, I want Gladys to be free, Tyra. Is Bertha ever gonna relinquish control?
No. I want Gladys to be her mother's daughter so badly. She's always stuck in this perpetual, but I want it, mother. Can I make my own decisions? Can I choose? Like that's all she ever does. It's always verbal. And I've been waiting for her to realize, okay, nobody's going to help me. And I low key can't even rely on my father to choose my side and have my back. I need to start kind of moving and manipulating things. Uh, and it's never like under any strong guise to me because even like this opera situation, we all like, it's not like no secret liaisons. Like, girl, if you didn't want anybody to know, are you sure? Like, as much as gossipy as they are, and how even the smallest little detail of something matters so much, especially who you're linked to. Like, come on, I've been waiting for her to like kind of play her mother's game with her, and she just hasn't. She just keeps kind of being kind of the brunt of, oh, mom, we won't net like. I don't know if it's gonna take like even the dramatics of her packing her like girl, where you going? Gladys, where you going? Running, girl, where you going, Gladys? Huh? Like
Mhm.
where are you going? Or just for her to even though sometimes she can't get a word in, tell Bertha like, yeah, these things are important, but also these things are kind of like try to meet her in the middle or appeal to different sensibilities with her mom. And not saying, that I don't care about the money and the wealth and the duke of it all and the image, but these things are important too. Can we at least make sure he's not X, Y, and Z before you try to link me to the man? Like, these things, like it's just always kind of a little bratty. And she's a high road she is. I don't know. I just be focused on her face a lot of
On
times.
your face.
But she
Yeah,
is
she looks
she is
elderly. I had to do a double take because I said, "Did I pull the right image?" Because I was like, "Is this Bertha?" But no,
yeah.
this is Gladys in the picture. It's just
Yeah, and I think it's because
oh my
she
face.
has to be. And how old is this actress? Because I remember her from Murder House, and that was years ago.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch Murder House, honey.
She has to maybe be up there. I'm gonna look, but I want Gladys to be free, but I also want her to realize like I need to beat my mother at her own game. So I'm gonna play it and make you think one thing. Or like when you ran away, like a plan, have a meeting, have some stuff in the tuck because yeah, this is not what I want for my life. It's just always I'm running away. Yeah, where are you going?
Girl,
Where are
we
you
don't
going,
know.
Gladys? I
We're,
don't
we're
know. I guess we'll see what it is, and hopefully, she gets her freedom. But if she's waiting on it at the hands of Bertha, girl, you're gonna be waiting.
waiting forever. Jasmine says, "We see what happened to Claudia when she ran off into the night. Gladys better
Oh
come on
Lord,
home."
no, Lord.
Not
Oh,
the worst possible scenario. While all this is going on, Daddy Russell is out here on the damn Pacific Railroad making money moves, right? I just want the land. I don't give a damn about them mines. Y'all can keep them mines. Make this deal. I got to go home and see about the bank because all the banks are now crashing. And
mhm.
I have a wild situation with my wife, and I need to protect my daughter because Gladys is convinced that her daddy is going to ride for her. We didn't have to talk about this. This was just kind of showing that he's always business forward. Russell is always on to the next new thing and always about this coin. So I'm very interested to see what's going to result with that. I thought we might stay out west a little bit longer, but when they started shooting in the hall, I said, "Russell, Daddy Russell, bring your tail back to New York. You not built for this."
I do kind of like this though because he's always under the assumption that I can move as I am, and the meager low class of men like they're just going to be happy to be thrown around. And these people are like, no, we know exactly who you are
Mhm.
and what an asset we are. You need to come correct and make sure we're straight financially. Why you think you're going to sway in here and collect? No. So I do like that. I want him to stop. Kind of the same thing he did with the union in those last seasons, and I'm going to offer them this temporarily, this fix. But he's just always kind of maybe like Larry, I don't know, in that gray
Oh,
space
God.
of being, a good man or a ruthless money, whatever. I could care less about the common person. There's that. So we're gonna see, but I like that they held him to task in this episode.
I did. They said, listen, you don't make us as rich as you, but make us rich. Like, we need to all be walking out of this room with a cute coin. And I like that. And honestly, I think Mr. Russell's character is one of the better developed in the series because he
Mhm.
is not all one thing. He's very nuanced and complex because on this one side, no, I'm not going to open fire on this man and his son who's going to work for the first day that's got 6 kids at home and a wife, but I will rob him blind. Like, I will sell him a dream. You know what I mean? So it's like, what is your line? And I think that's important for us to see. I think especially in this era of opulence, new money, all of that. What will you do to get it? What will you do to keep it? Because the tagline for this season was like fortunes do change. So I'm very curious about what that's going to mean. And with the inevitable crashes and things that we know are inevitable with this, it's going to be interesting to see. But he's still fine, and I still like him.
And I looked
Finally,
it up because I wanted to double check. Gladys is pretty much 31 for the most part.
oh yeah, trying to play a 17-year-old, 18-year-old. Yeah, yeah. So finally, this is the last slide. We have a runaway bride. Cause listen, mama, leave me alone. Nobody puts baby in a corner. She packed her raggedy duffel bag, her brocade bag, and walked up out of that house. And I think somebody's going to catch her. I honestly think Larry is going to be coming in at the same time, or I think she's going to run into somebody who's going to, like, cooler heads will prevail. I don't think she's going to make it far. Of course,
Brooks.
if she makes it to that man, her virtue is kind of ruined or called into question. I think Miss Brooks, she might go across the street. I think she would go to the safest possible place. I think if she goes over to the Carrolltons, the mama would take her back. But I don't know, Tyra. Where did she go? Where did the runaway bride go with her raggedy duffel bag?
Well,
Where'd
they
she
had
go?
her run like adjacent, like that way. The other house is like directly across the street, and I think she wants to get further away than just across the street because it's probably the first place that they'll look. But it's not, too many places that she could go who's not going to immediately call up Bertha. Um, I think the most organic thing would be for her to run to her soon to be love, or what she thinks to be, and it just be that. But I think they'll maybe leave it up, you know, in arms just to have like, oh, and then you have Mr. Russell get there. Where is she? See, this is what, and it's just like, oh, we were worried sick. They're not gonna immediately tell us exactly where she went. So, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's somewhere with the boy, because I think we did have Larry say this episode, like, did y'all ever think about eloping and running away
Oh
together,
God.
like. Or is that was that the plan? Did y'all talk about that? Like, who knows? Because they don't show us those things.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Well, we're going to see you guys. But that was the episode almost 2 hours later. That was season 3, episode 1 of The Gilded Age. Tyra, any other thoughts on the episode? And what do we have going on this week?
Ah, y'all know we talking about Love Island.
Immediately after, like in 2
Yeah.
minutes?
In literally 2 minutes, we will be getting over there in those Love Island streets. Please join us for that. This will be a packed week, okay? There are some new introductions here, not just the Gilded Age, but something like Ironheart. I know directly after Ironheart, we're going to be discussing 28 Years Later as well. I'll get the links up for that pretty soon. Y'all, tomorrow, we're, oh God, Game of Thrones! We're doing our binge of Game of Thrones for anybody who has not been present for that. I've never seen Game of Thrones. I believe we'll be starting with episode 5. Can't wait for that. Excited for that. We're also, doing some new stuff where we're having, tit for tat. I'm watching Game of Thrones for the first time. Ashley's watching Sex in the City on Thursdays for the first time. And everything else is, to be expected, what we've been covering thus far, like in Just Like That or Divorced Sisters. So be on the lookout for all those things, as well as, us getting into all these Love Island streets pretty much every day this week.
Every night, damn it, every night. But yes, thank you guys. Do not forget to hit the like button. If you enjoyed this live, do us the biggest favor ever. And once the live is over, leave a comment down below on both channels That helps us so much with engagement. Like it. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you have the notification bell hit. Shout out to the 50 people who got here last night to talk Gilded Age on our first night. That's
Yeah.
really encouraging. Thank you guys so much for being here. Oh, and go run up my upload. I did an upload for this. It's like almost a 20-minute video for episode 1. So please go check that out, girl. I know. But go check that out. And if you are a Love Island fanatic, join us. Apparently, this is Casa Amor night. This episode is an hour and a half, and we will be watching it in the Discord. So just come on over, y'all. We'll see you guys later. Love you bunches. See you in the next video.